Zip Zip Homework by Nancy Poiter. Violet was shopping for a backpack because she was going to have homework this year. She saw one on wheels with zippers and snaps, Velcro and straps. "Perfect," said Violet. "For what?" her mother said. "Homework," said Violet. Every day she rolled her pack to school just in case she got homework. The older kids talked about homework. "Mrs. Patience gives tons of homework," said Skye. "Be sure you don't lose it," warned Jim. And Violet wasn't worried one bit. Squeak, squeak, squeak. At her house, Violet had a place all ready to do homework. She liked to practice filling her pack. She would zip and snap, stick and click until her mother called, "Violet, you'll wear that pack out." Sometimes she would pretend to be Mrs. Patience and herself at the same time. "Homework not done?" she'd say in her big voice. "Yes, yes, it is," she would say in a tiny voice. "It's a good thing you didn't lose it, young lady." "I keep it in this pack." Then Mrs. Patience would explain, "Violet, that's the most beautiful pack I've ever seen." Finally, Mrs. Patience said she had a paper for everyone to do at home. "Mrs. Patience, is it homework?" asked Violet. "Yes, Violet," said Mrs. Patience. Violet was thrilled. She tried to decide which pack pocket to put it in. Bring! Went the dismissal bell. Violet closed her pack. Zip, stick, click, snap. It was ready for rolling home. "That's quite a pack, Violet," said Mrs. Patience. "It's for homework," said Violet. Squeak, 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 squeak. "I have a ton of homework," hollered Violet when she got home. "Everyone has to be quiet while I work." After a homework snack, she went to get her paper. Zip, no zip. Rip, no stick. Unclick, no click. Unsnap, no snap. No homework paper. "My homework paper got lost," she imagined telling Mrs. Patience in a tiny voice. "What?" Mrs. Patience would be horrified. Violet did not have to pretend to be scared. "Look again, young lady." Mrs. Patience would not be patient. Zip, no rip. Rip, no. Unclick, no. Unsnap, no. Violet's homework was not there, so she closed her pack for good. Zip, snap, stick, click. "Sounds like you finished your homework," called her father. "Just put it in my pack," called Violet, because she didn't want to talk about it. At bedtime, her mother said, "That rolling pack is perfect. Sweet dreams." But sweet dreams didn't come to Violet. Instead, she was zipping and ripping and clicking and snapping dreams all night long. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The next day, Violet walked to school slowly. "The homework wasn't bad," said Tom. "It was a snap." "It didn't take too long," said Allie. "I zipped right through it," said Violet. "I wish I had a pack like that," said Carrie. "Not me," thought Violet. At school, Mrs. Patience collected their homework. Violet fiddled with her pack. Zip, rip. Mrs. Patience said, "What are you doing, Violet?" Violet mumbled, "Getting my homework. I finished it and put it in my pack pocket somewhere." "Are you looking for this?" Mrs. Patience asked. "I found it under your desk after school." "Oh," said Violet in a tiny voice. "We'll need to talk at recess time," said Mrs. Patience. When recess time came, Mrs. Patience said, "Violet, the truth is more important than homework, you know." Violet never imagined Mrs. Patience saying that. I kept the truth zipped up, said Violet. But did you lose the truth? Asked Mrs. Patience. No, said Violet, and she told Mrs. Patience the truth. Violet did her homework right then. It was a snap. Mrs. Patience didn't give her a happy face sticker, but she did give her a special homework assignment. That night, Violet told her parents the truth. It was her special homework assignment, and it was harder than the homework she didn't do the night before. Her mother and father did not have happy faces, but Violet knew they hadn't lost them. Violet got some yarn and tied one piece onto her pack. Perfect, she said. For what? Asked her father. For finding the homework pocket, said Violet. The next time Mrs. Patience handed out homework, Violet knew just where to put it in her pack. Zip, zip, squeak, 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 rip, zip, click, zip, snap, went all the other new rolling packs in Mrs. Patience's room. Violet got out the homework pocket yarn. Snip, snip. The end.